A woman named Carol Kemp met the love of her life, Martin, online. It seemed to be great at first, until Martin wanted out. Unable to handle this, in December 2011, Carol stabbed him twice in the heart. She was sentenced to 13 years in prison. A man named Venkato Kadamanchi had arranged to meet an online escort named Jessica. She met him at Wendy's and they both went to a motel. It was there that two men and another woman were waiting to rob and kill him. Some people will do anything to cure loneliness. Take Jack Jacobs, for example. She was a 67-year-old woman who thought she met the perfect man online. His name was Jesse Amoko. He was 28 and lived in South Africa. Jacob sent him some money and gifts. When she went to visit him, her body was found dead in a rented room. Amoko had vanished, along with Jacob's belongings and all of Amoko's online aliases. A woman who was diabetic went to meet a man in Morocco after meeting on Facebook. When they were on a date at his house, she went into a diabetic seizure. The man panicked. Rather than call 911, he buried her in his garden. She suffocated under the dirt. Sharon Simmons went on an online date with Jason Dinsley. Unbeknownst to her, Dinsley had over 100 prior criminal convictions. One was for rape at knife point. When she rejected him for a second date, he bashed her skull in with a cricket bat. Sadly, her young son was hiding nearby. Michael Sandy was a 29-year-old gay man. He was going to meet up with a man he had met online, named Anthony Fortunato. When Sandy got there, Fortunato was waiting with 3 other men with the intent of robbing him. The 4 began to assault Sandy, who ran away to a highway and was struck by a car. In 2011, on Christmas Eve, Ashley Lavelle met up with LeVar Watson at a movie theatre after meeting him online. When LeVar got into Lavelle's car after the movie was over, he was shot in the back by Lavelle's accomplice, Steven Rupnerine. Marie Exposto was arrested for carrying crystal meth at an airport. She was convinced by her online boyfriend to commit this crime. The thing is, she was arrested in Malaysia. Getting caught smuggling drugs in that country can be punishable by death. Luckily, a judge believed her when she said she was scammed. On the surface, Graham Dwyer looked like a loving family man. However, he harnessed a deep lust for murder. In 2007, he met Elaine O'Hara online. O'Hara was a chronically depressed woman, and the two began a bondage relationship. One day, Dwyer stabbed O'Hara in the stomach, and she died. Mark Twitchell was an aspiring filmmaker and a huge fan of the television show Dexter. In fact, he was such a fan that he pretended to be a girl online in order to get John Altinger to come to his house so he could kill him, just like the lead character does on the show. Ashley Pelgrim, a 28-year-old, told her mother she was going out with a man she met on a dating app called Kik. His name was Edward Vanilla and was 8 years her junior. Pelgrim's mother panicked when her daughter never came home. When the police investigated, they found traces of blood in Vanilla's car. He claimed that he was drunk and accidentally hit her with his car. Vanilla claimed that she had become violent, and when he tried to restrain her, she died in his arms. He was not believed and was sentenced to life in prison. Nicole White decided to try out online dating. She got on the site and connected with Jonathan Harris. She agreed to meet him at a bar. According to police, Harris took White back home, where he stomped and beat her to death. White had been a single mother of 2 children. In 2015, Miles Donnelly murdered Usha Patel. Patel invited Donnelly to her house after the two met online. When Patel put her young son to bed, The two got naked, and Donnelly beat Patel in a drunken rage. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison. A single father by the name of Adam Hillary made a connection with an attractive woman named Hayley Bustis on a website called Plenty of Fish. They went out for a date. The date was going so well that Hillary invited Bustis back to his house. It was there that Bustis showed her true intentions. She had 3 men waiting for Hillary to rob, beat, and eventually kill the single father. Police say that Daniel Drayton used the app Tinder to meet women in order to sexually assault and murder them. He was a suspect in the rape and murder of a nurse named Samantha Stewart. When cops tracked him down to a hotel in Los Angeles, he was holding another woman hostage. In New Zealand, Marina Wright went on a Tinder date with Gabriel Tosti. They were at his apartment when the two got into a fight and Tosti began to choke Wright. He then locked her out on his balcony. She ended up falling off the balcony to her death. Tosti was arrested but eventually acquitted on all charges. On November the 15th, 2007, Sydney Loof was preparing to go on a date with Bailey Boswell. The two matched on Tinder and Loof was very excited. She even posted selfies of herself with the caption, "Ready for my date?" The next day, Loof never showed up for work and didn't call in. A month later, they found his dismembered body in a rural area. They questioned Boswell and a 50-year-old roommate, Aubrey Trail. The two later confessed to killing Loof in a 3-way sex act gone wrong. When you hear about somebody getting killed while using a dating app, you probably assume it's a person on the date who has died. In the case of Emile Cilliers, a 37-year-old British Army sergeant, he tried to murder his wife for his Tinder date. Cilliers went as far as trying to tamper with the parachute his wife was using during a trip. Luckily, his wife only got a few injuries and the accident was not fatal. After breaking up with her abusive ex-husband, Jovi Pillapil decided to give Tinder a try. She went on a date with Keith Collins. They went to a barbecue restaurant. Pillapil's ex followed them. His name was Alexander Villaluna, and when he confronted the two, he stabbed Collins to death. He tried to murder Pillapil, but she survived. He was sentenced to at least 30 years. Alana Rose Jones got no jail time for stabbing her Tinder date. Apparently the two met, went to Jones's apartment, and slept together. Then Jones saw a text message from the man's girlfriend asking where he was. Jones attacked the man with a knife and told him to get out. She reported to police that she cut a man who tried attacking her. She was sentenced to 18 months in prison with immediate parole. Most guys would think that going on a date with not one, not two, but 3 women would be a dream. It was not the case for a 26-year-old Ghanaian man who had moved to Australia. He met 3 women through a dating app and agreed to give them a ride. When he picked them up, they robbed him and stabbed him several times and left him for dead. He survived by knocking on doors, begging for help. In Port Macquarie, Australia, Angel J went out with Jay Lambert. They hit it off and began dating seriously. When Jay went on a vacation a couple of weeks into their dating, Lambert began acting possessive and jealous, causing her to break up with him. Lambert began to stalk and harass Jay. He broke into her apartment, stabbed her repeatedly, and doused her with gasoline. She survived, called emergency, and police quickly arrived. They shot and killed Lambert. In December of 2016, Francie O'Barra went on a date with Emmanuel Bocanegra. They met via Tinder. The two went on several dates until O'Barra went missing. Police searched Bocanegra's home and found a trash bag with bones. Police believe they made sexual advances towards her and killed her when she rejected him. They also believed he tried to get rid of her body using hydrochloric acid. Jordan Matthews was found guilty and sentenced to prison for the brutal death of his girlfriend Zizi Lee. Matthews went into a rage when he thought he saw a Tinder notification on a phone from someone named Ben. It turned out there was no notification, and Lee had no contacts in her phone named Ben. Devon Richard Hartman used the dating app Ok Cupid to lure and rape women he met. On the outside, he appeared to be a handsome, friendly guy, but once he got his victims alone, he turned violently aggressive and violated them. He was arrested in 2015 for related charges and sentenced to life in prison.